Hello there YouTube, this is Sybils and Bits back at it again with Inkbound. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to be playing Mosscloak. We're all the way up at Gold 1. I believe this is actually our promotion into Platinum. I'm going to give you guys a bit to read these mods, and then we're going to just take a peek and make sure that's the case. It is. If we win this one, we will go into Platinum. And since we lost the last Mosscloak run, it'd be kind of nice to win this run. Taking a look at what we have here, critical hits is pretty decent on Mosscloak, so is inflict poison. I had an idea that this was going to be the case when they first did the patch notes, and I mentioned it in that stream. If you get poison vapors, this is pretty much like autocomplete. All you gotta do is hit like 4, maybe 3 people, and this is done. I mean, normally anyways, it's very easy to get 140 applications of a debuff by the end of Chapter 1 anyways. So you can get a very early run quest here. The question is do we want to fight Runestone? I don't think that we don't want to fight Runestone as Mosscloak. I think that it's fine. Cinder as Mosscloak is also quite fine. And Argoloth, again, we don't want to be forced to go to the Carver, in my opinion. So it's definitely between these two. We'll probably go to Runestone. Getting an early legendary could be what we need, especially if it's something like Predator's Quintessence. Ulima's Whetstone seems pretty good. It's good burst damage. Only helps us turn 1, but we'll take it. And we might as well take, I'm debating if we take Poison Throw here, actually. Because if we take Poison Throw here, and then we try and put on, like, say, Poison when not poisoned, which is a green at 6, if they don't have Poison 2 otherwise. That's using 2 of our like stacks, if you will, and that makes it a little bit funky. And at some point here, we're going to have to actually do some damage too. So if Throw's not going to do that, then what is? Probably Distant Flurry. So maybe it's Distant Dash to go into Distant Flurry so that we can cast it as much as we possibly can. I could see that. It's also decently good for positioning. But on the other hand, if we don't start on it now, I was kind of hoping for any sort of on-hit vestige so that we wouldn't have to take Poison Throw. I think we kind of have to take Poison Throw because I don't know if we're going to get a green anytime soon. I think we're very bad versus Nim and Giannis. Well, probably not Nim. I think that we could probably like focus up Nim. The difficulty, of course, being that he spawns with more minions that we kind of have to take care of, which is going to increase his damage. So if we do not take him down quickly, which we're kind of leaning into a poison setup here, but with the run quest, it's going to take forever. He's going to get lots of damage, and then it's probably going to become a bad time. I think that he's much easier for us than Giannis, because Giannis we have to hit multiple times to apply the poison because poison drops off very quickly, and Giannis gains damage whenever you deal damage to him. So unless we find some way to like spam, I don't know, Incendiary or Poison Vapor, it's really going to become a bad time with Giannis with this build. So we definitely don't want to go there regardless of what the book modifier says. And of course, it doesn't matter for a DOT build because this DR will drop off before DOT occurs, I believe. Somebody told me. So we're pretty much stuck going into pacifism, which isn't bad. And Promenade is not a bad place for DOTs either. The worms are kind of annoying, but our last seasonal update is here, so we might as well take care of it. Still gonna go Quillings. got the worst fish. This is an interesting setup. These guys having magical shell means nothing to us because we have, you know, throw. And Rampager is notable. I forgot to mention this last time when I said that I was going to start, like, explaining, like, understanding what exactly is going on in the fight before we start the fight. Rampager is, I believe it's called Rager, is the first tier, and now we're at Rampager, so every third of its health, it's going to gain plus 100% damage. If there's anything on the field that gives us damage, Martyr, the supporter casters, they absolutely have to go, or you have to make sure that you kill this thing in like one turn, which shouldn't be a problem for us. Why are you not taking damage? My damage preview isn't working? There we go. I'm wondering how we can go about this. There we go. A little unfortunate that we're going to have to take 7 here, but it's just how the enemies place themselves. Not much we could have done about that, I think. More crit damage is interesting. Especially with us just losing this physical power. We don't lose crit damage, and it's a multiplier. Seems pretty good to me. I suppose we could also apply stacks of poison. I'm trying to think here of what exactly we might prefer to have on here instead. Shield on dash. Think purple gives us evasion. Maybe it's blue gives us evasion. I don't play a lot of Mosscloak. Regardless, it's very late, so we want to leave slots open for that. We could get the double use, but that's really unnecessary in my opinion. Let's just add some poison to it. We can afford to do that. So here I would like to see probably After Image or Poison Vapors. Could also see Incendiary. Incendiary's good enough. Wondering if we reroll here and try and get Poison Vapors. We'll go ahead and try. We didn't get it, but we got Cleave. It's not as good as on the DOT front as, like, say, Incendiary, but at least it does some upfront damage that should help take control of some crowds for us. Oh, that's right, and it crits. I don't think we need to use a potion here. We can wait to use the potion when he unburrows. But one thing that I think that we should do kind of went a bit too far on that one. Can't hit him with this at all. So I guess we're just going to kill the money pot. Leave that for next turn. Put ourselves up next to this power orb so that we can inch towards it. Now we're going to go ahead and use Potion of Power. Probably grab that. It's a little embarrassing, honestly. Well, even after he burrows, that should defeat him, so I guess we got that going for us. Feeling pretty good so far. Grabbing more crit helps. Of these options, I'd rather just put 2 stacks of bleed on cleave. We're going to go ahead and go to this binding empowerment as per usual. I debated for a second there because I have a quest at Ohm, but for the sake of YouTube, we're going to go ahead and play as good as we can here. Lethal throw is huge. Like, really huge. 2 stacks of bleed. We could go into, like, Hemo. Which would allow us to just, you know, proc bleed more often. It would be an interesting Mosscloak. But then we pretty much have nothing else that we can really do with throw. I'd kind of like to get a plus damage on there since we have crit damage now. Or even, like, crit chance. But it's possible that that's actually not the right play at all. We're going up against Runestone, so even Shatter on Cleave sounds good. I think Bleed is actually our ticket here. It's really a shame. Like, we needed to grab that poison early, because that's why we're up this high. But I think that Bleed isn't going to let us down here. Famous last words. And then I think I almost want Glyph Globes at this point, because I think we really want to re-roll into, like, Hemo or maybe even Ricochet as early as possible. Going into Ricochet just makes our targeting that much easier. You with Iron Cannon is a little bit, like, I don't want to say easier, but it's nice to see. I almost feel like I just want to delete you off the map. Basically utilizing that mark so that we can just go ahead and drop a ton of damage on this man. You're going to take some damage. I think our move is actually just to let you rise and leave this orb. And we'll take that orb, mark you, take you guys out, grab this, flap, flap. You're gonna be dispatched due to the DOT. I want to leave that mark on you, actually, and we're actually going to sit back here and wait a little bit. Okay, let's get us some more shuriken. I guess that's not happening. Here we go. Let's grab that power orb. Dash on in. I think we're going to drop the payload on you. I'm going to lose 6 HP here, but I believe that this is correct. We probably could have made sure that we dashed through him. That one we probably could have planned a little bit better. If we're going to take 6, we might as well deal a little bit more DOT, I think. I think we're going to end up fine, though. And we're going to get our legendary, unfortunately, during the Inferno fight. It's not too bad. Let's get some more crit chance so that we actually see our crit damage a little bit more. Shielding dash, I think, is going to need to happen. I think if it's not exclusive, because I don't remember, if it's not exclusive, we probably need like 2 of these. Evasive would also help. Just add a little bit more defense on us. As far as these here, these are all pretty suffer, not gonna lie. Blink is at least something. With the purple, it gives us an orb, which reduces all of our cooldowns, allows us to bleed more. It's a little weird, but we'll do it. This, we just did a hard fight, so that means that this is our event 3. If we want to shop, we're going to have to do it now. I think we honestly should. Miser's Whip would be pretty good to see. What about Whispered Invitation, though? On dodging, gain 10 ability power until a binding is used. That seems... I mean, it gives us crits. I think we can get a stack of evasion off Blink. We can get a stack of evasion off Scavenger's Dash. And we could luck into stuff like Moss Mother's Cloak. And between Whispered Invitation and Liar's Dice, I'll honestly take Liar's Dice. Go ahead, heal me. And I think we're honestly looking pretty good for Inferno right now. I kind of wish to hit like all of you guys. Perfect. Gonna use our prickly puffer here just because reasons. You're dealing 3, you're dealing 4. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to kind of like deal with it. But no, that was pretty good. That's Uluma's Whetstone at work. We also have a bit of crit damage, but not like an exorbitant amount. Yeah, this fight's over this next turn. We just need to stop the bleeding. Or the fight could be over in 2 turns, honestly. I don't think we need to rush it. I think that's good. Alright. Okay. Gain a critical charge on a random binding for each enemy or ally you pass through. We don't have a lot of things that crit, but Deadly Dance still seems like pretty dang good. Especially since we're kind of going into like this crit setup. We can just start stacking crit damage. Let's look at our rewards. Baylor's Tongue would be amazing. We didn't get Baylor's Tongue. I'm in shambles. Wooloo's Bloodletter is also pretty decent. We don't have a lot of max HP to really, like, squeeze something out of it, if that makes any sense. Olmec Orb Walkers is a way for us to try and clear trash, which we currently suck at. So that's also a very good thing to note. Clepsydranium, basically just meaning that we get to use Cleave more often. And in fact, that makes it seem not bad at all. Because I think that actually, I don't think it necessarily means that it deals more damage per turn than Olmec Orb Walkers, because Olmec Orb Walkers deals 50 damage per person. But by reducing our cooldowns by an additional 1 every turn, we use Cleave, and then it's going to cool down in 4 turns. If we pick up 2 orbs, then it's going to cool down in 3 turns, I believe. If we pick up 3 orbs, it'll be cooled down in 3 turns. Being able to use Cleave every 3 turns means that versus single target, we are dealing, let's say, 200 per 3, that's 70 on a single target, not counting the bleed. So, it's, seems pretty good. It also helps our non-existent magic damage, but really we're just taking this for the purpose of being able to cleave as much as possible. And if we're cleaving as much as possible, maybe it's a bloodthirsty cleave, but no, I think we need stacks of evasive, and we didn't get after image. So I think evasive blink honestly isn't bad. Especially if it's going to be used every turn for free. And yeah, I think we're going to take Deadly Dance here. And that was our last Scavenger's Dash. Another thing that's been pointed out is, although the Birdie on Fire like seasonal quest says that it'll start in June, it seems that when you complete the last objective, most likely defeat a burrower, the game is set to auto-track the next subquest in a list. And I think what that's doing is that's actually breaking the sequence. And so we're actually able to get into these here. Now, we were also able to defeat the Inferno for 1 out of 3. So apparently we're also like actually performing these quests. So a little bit of early EXP apparently. Go ahead and take that. Give me a fish. Prickly Puffer. 30% crit chance with a baseline 15 here. Pretty dang good. I would like it to stop telling me that I have shinies. Here, I honestly think that Captor isn't that bad. Famous last words. Lusk is also, like, very easy for us. It's really a question of what do we honestly want to give the elites, and we're probably not going to have any money in the final area, so this is pretty much a non-issue. Debating if I actually need money here. I very well might. Yeah, let's grab some money. I'm feeling plenty strong enough for this area. Famous last words. This area does have the Inkwells, which are, like, notoriously suffer. Hit all these guys. Dash on through, not on top of another hitbox, otherwise I'm going to end up, like, just in front of it. I'm going to go ahead, flurry. And then might as well just, like, bop this guy one more time. He's pretty much done. It's going to deny some of our zone here. That's a rooter. I don't think that we care. There's another pen down here. Maybe we do care about the rooter, because I don't know if we're actually going to be able to target you later. It's a little weird. Let's prevent that area denial. Taking 3 damage here is fine. And now we've got damage on our next attack since we have managed to evade something. Yeah, I think that's fine. They are going to deny us a lot of area here, but it's just this cannon remaining. We should be able to single target it. Famous last words. Make sure to mark him, I guess. Now we've got a crit. We're going to dodge here, so we're actually quite fine. Might as well use that crit, I suppose. Alright. So what am I feeling here? I'm feeling like we could use a little bit more defense. Technically, evasion's very strong against Runestone. So I'm not feeling too bad about that specifically, but we still need to make sure that we can make it past the Chapter 3 elites. Breaking Cleave isn't bad here. Quick and Blink is like a 0 integer as far as I'm concerned. Being able to use Dash twice in one turn, we really don't have the will to do that. I think it's Breaking Cleave just due to that. On your turn, gain 1 shuriken. Huh. What would we want purple to be? Heal on hit? Don't think that's necessary on cleave. More purples could definitely go into... Sorry. Could go into blink. We could start making orbs with them, which would allow us to spam cleave even more. And if we're spamming cleave, I suppose we might as well stack some more bleed, huh? 2 stacks of poison per hit. Not sure that that actually wows me right now. It's really one of the... Like, it's something. We technically didn't pay for this. Is this worth a glyph to reroll? I don't know if it is. Do we need a rare augment? Rare augment could be... Rare augment could be good. And if we're going to a glyph globe, we might as well reroll this. We don't need that many. We'll go ahead, add a little bit more damage to our flurry. It's the last one we needed there. Just completing quests today. Okay, so these ink pots are like priority, enemy priority number 1. I don't like them. Am I able to get all 3? Magic Pixel exists. Warn the people. You're shooting here, so if I dispatch you, then I'm safe here. Sounds good. I'm gonna go ahead and Prickly Puffer here because reasons. I think dashing over here is fine. I think setting up on these pots is probably preferable. Okay, grab this. We're probably just going to take all of this damage here. You have team captain? That's rude. Alright. We're in kind of a way here because they just keep spawning pots. My one problem with Radiant Market is actually the pots themselves. I think they are insanely overtuned. They basically have the same area denial and damage of these cannons here, but they also just get to spawn in like they're mediums. Like we have 4 of them on screen at once here. It's not feeling great. Then, of course, they have martyrs, so they're going to increase each other's damage. That's kind of awkward, not going to lie. This cannon's doing 8. These guys are doing 6. This is actually the least amount of damage that we could take. We're in trouble. Oh, that... I still died? Did I miss something there? Oh, the pot probably died before the cannon shot. It's a little annoying. Because I'm pretty sure I lost a skull on my head as soon as I killed the one pot. Anyways, that's a little rough. I guess we couldn't have taken that hard fight. I was feeling really good about that run, too. Again, like, my number one lament about that biome is those pots in general. I've put in feedback. Hopefully, eventually they get, like, tuned down. They have as much, if not more, health than the cannons, which are classified as heavy enemies, and therefore there can only be, like, 1, maybe 2 in a fight, even in the hard fights. And they deny large amounts of area for like 2 turns each, and then if you don't kill them by turn 3, they do global damage for like 10 plus on that book, and you're just supposed to have to figure out how to deal with that. And that's not assuming that they don't have a team captain on the cannon, that they don't have like Juggernaut, which allows them to heal health every turn. Maybe you put on Never-Ending Story, that allows them to heal their missing health. That doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it can make them live for another turn. I think that they're like absolutely ridiculous. You can go ahead and leave your opinion about the Inkwells or the ink pots down below. And unfortunately, we are on a losing streak with Mosscloak. Hopefully the run was still at least entertaining and or educational. And until next time, we'll catch you guys around. If you have any feedback until then, be sure to put that down in the comments below. Be it questions, concerns, comments, misplay alerts. I want to see them. And you guys have a good one.